Good to see you folks back. There was a rough election for state college trustees. Boy, I've never been through a battle quite like that.
It was a gerrymandered election.
Yeah, I'd say so. No, it's pretty easy when there's only two.
And the same person given the seconding nominations.
Yeah,
I noticed that too.
that's kind of.
She's the real power. She's the power base, obviously.
Have you guys ever run for one of those positions?
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah, I was on the, I ran for the Board of Trustees, State College. And John Farmer, a well-known older guy than me in the legislature when I ran, was running against me. It was kind of a fun contest, and I mean, I got elected. I beat him, but we used to do it by eliminations, and
Right.
you know, the top, you would pick whether you wanted to be in the first run of officers or the second run, and then they would take the top one, and there was quite a lot of calculating in there which time you would run. And but anyways, getting back to our business of the day. Oh, and by the way, guys, I've never lost an election since I was
Wow.
21. So, but anyways, getting back to our business, I wanted to chat a little bit just with ourselves in regards to trying to move out the housekeeping bill from the Agency of Ag, as well as adding on the extension of the Dairy Task Force and to the bill, and to see so then the House would, hopefully we could get that over there, the week after we come back. And then the House would have that bill to work on and to add things to or delete from. But it would, I thought we should try to get that over to them, but I wanted to get your opinion before I, pushed it with Michael to get that ready. Brian?
Thanks, Bobby. So process-wise, I see that the House piece of this is on the notice calendar, so they'll be taking it up, I guess, tomorrow for action. Are we going to take all of our sections and add it to theirs, or are they going to take all of ours and add it to, I'm confused, or will there be two housekeeping bills?
Yeah, it'd be two
Okay.
sections. Yeah, or two bills, actually.
Okay,
And so I just wanted to get your opinion on that as a committee. We try to do everything together. The only part of that is we're gonna have to use one of our bills that we have in our room as a bill. And Chris and Anthony, your bill dealing with agricultural practices, I think is it 258?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure.
That would be germane, or it deals with water quality and stuff, and I think the stuff we're doing on the ag agency's behalf is dealing, quite a lot of that's dealing with water quality and stuff. So it would blend together. The only thing I got to check with Michael on that. Or if there's some other bill that you'd rather use, we could, but I just as soon, if we're going to do it, use one of our, our members' bills.
Sure.
Yeah.
Was that the one that is gonna reopen the RAPs?
Yeah,
It
And that-
wasn't an automatic reopening, but yes,
Yeah.
that is the one you're thinking of. But you don't mean, I mean, it's fine to me to add them together, but I don't think that's really what you mean, Mr. Chair.
not add them together, use that bill as a vehicle and we would just delete your parts, as far as water, the stuff you've got in there, take that out and put this other stuff in. But of course, we're going to give you both the credit for passing that bill.
Well, setting aside the merits of what you're suggesting, I do wonder if, I mean, that will cause a little bit of confusion, I should think, for people that don't appreciate the wisdom of our discussion starting bill. And so, I just point that out, that you may get some emails, Mr. Chair.
On what part, run that by me. in
Well, I
more
mean, there would be some that would find the bill that we introduced to be not what they want to see. And so, when they see that bill traveling, I mean, I guess we can depend on Jackie and others to make it clear what's happening. But
Oh, you mean they might get nervous thinking we're back? Well, that's okay. It'll get their blood running, get the pressure up. We'll deal with it that way. I didn't know if it would be the other way, mad because we weren't opening the RAPs. But as far as the other way, I don't get hung up on that stuff.
I would, so I'm fine with that. I would just say that I still don't really understand what the agency has been filing and then withdrawing, and there's just moves, and I don't know if it's the old A&R Ag, whatever, but there's been proposals around the RAPs, and I would like us to understand that before we just jettison that language. But that doesn't have to be a big deal. Maybe somebody could just tell me offline, but it's part of the puzzle to me that I'm finding confusing.
Well, I wouldn't want you to go away anytime being confused over. No, we'll.
That's a tall order, Mr. Chair.
Bobby?
Well, there's got to be somebody over there that can come and explain that to us, and let him do it to the whole committee. Yeah, Laura or one of them. Yeah.
Thank you.
Brian?
Yeah, so to me, rather than risk sending out signals that necessarily aren't going to be the right signals, this draft that we're looking at, why can't we just make that a committee bill and have it stand on its own?
Well, I think we're too late for that. We can ask about that, but I think we're too late. We have a very short window on the Senate side to even introduce bills, and then you have a short window even after we get back to do a committee bill. And we only got that material a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So it kind of,
Okay.
If you really wanted to do that, I'll go to the Rules Committee and try to get an extension just to do a simple extension on and see if they'll let us do a committee bill. But I just felt that we've got that vehicle in our room, and we're not going to push that issue anyways. And we might as well have a couple of members in the room use their bill.
That's fine.
Okay? Yep.
And I'm fine with adding the extension to the task force. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yep. Yeah, see, that expires, I think,
March.
March 1st, and it would be nice if the House could move that bill along before the deadline, and we'd keep the same membership. Because
Yep.
we had a really good working committee. You know, that everybody got along and offered good suggestions, and so it went pretty well. Just that made a long summer or long fall. So we had that, and I'll talk with Michael. And
Just to
Is
be
there-
clear, Bobby, I haven't checked out their language closely, so I'm all for working on it. I don't want you to hear me say, you know, I'm comfortable with it. I gather it's fairly, you know, nothing too exciting, but I wouldn't want you to walk away thinking I've said, yes, I'll support it.
well, I had you down at 110%.
Yeah, that's why
no.
I'm bringing this up. I know how you roll.
On the face of it, it looks fairly non-controversial, but you never know
Yeah.
until you get into it.
The only part that I thought we could talk about, really get into if we wanted to, is that rule about good standing. And the agency, see, that's only, you can't get federal money if you're not in good standings, only on certain issues, and they would kind of like to move that across all their regulations. And, you know, if somebody's got well, I had a meat cutter up here that was putting in a little custom slaughter and cut facility this last year. And I mean, they raised perfect heck with him over baloney stuff, like coming to inspect when he told them that he wasn't ready to be inspected, and, you know, simple stuff like that, and miscommunications. And they wrote him up a ticket for $12,000, and I mean, a little one man, you know, operation that we've been trying to support. And they negotiated it down to $9,000 fine. And I mean, totally ridiculous. And of course, he hasn't paid it, but he wouldn't be able to apply for any working lands permit unless he negotiated out some type of a payment system. So he's gonna take, what gets me on this, if he negotiated out, this is my thinking, negotiated out a deal on payments, then he could apply for a working lands grant to do certain things. So then he would get state money to take back home and then use that same money to pay the fine. I mean, it's totally ridiculous, but I mean, that might not happen very often, but I think the regulators ought to be more willing to settle an argument than you know, let it get out of hand and get to that extreme, all over nothing, really. But anyways, that's basically all I wanted to touch base with you guys, and and make sure that we were, all on the same page and that's good, Chris, that you're working down the hall with those guys. That might work out really positive for everybody if Chris could get his part of that bill back into the bill and I think and put some type of a voluntary reporting provision in there on the usage of water. And I think, you usually catch a lot more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. And I think that would be real good. Anything that you folks want to bring up or make sure we get on the schedule next week?
Totally different topic. Chris, do you want me to send you the link to the noon meeting about the reapportionment? Okay.
So we'll see you guys at noontime then. Is
Yeah.
it noon or 12:15, Brian?
Noon.
Yeah,
I won't be able to make it, guys. I'm heading up to the Highgate Airport to look at a few things up there.
Hopefully like airplanes.
No, just more projects. There's some exciting opportunities up there.
well, I'll
Okay.
tell you how you're going to turn out. You're going to be redistricted right out of your district.
I
Yeah.
am very comfortable in my district, and
I've already got his block in with Milton and Chittenden County. Perfect.
Perfect.
I'd be okay with Milton.
How about Winooski?
Hey,
Yeah,
Senators, I just want to
Um,
remind you, Senators, I just want to remind you that tomorrow you'll be getting a unique meeting invite because you're going to be having a joint hearing with the Senate Judiciary Committee, who is the host of the meeting.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have to watch for that in the morning. Well, if there isn't anything else, we'll adjourn the meeting and thanks